Hey, everybody. Welcome to our brand new podcast called I Am Right. I am Rocker Mike, Rob Rossi, top right, and our special guest who will be returning hopefully every week for this show that we do it, Eric Moore, bottom right, and Knowledge Allah, bottom
Peace.
left. How's everybody doing today?
I'm good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is going to be a pretty much like a roundtable discussion show. We're gonna do it about once a month, and every show will be something a little different. We'll get into politics. We'll get into local concerns around New York City, or really anything that comes to mind. We're going to talk about all different kinds of stuff. And today we're going to be talking about the newly put together congestion pricing in New York City. It's really, in my opinion, an awful thing. I think we can all agree about that. Put up some stuff there, Rob. Okay, yeah. Like these are the prices. What the congestion pricing is basically anybody below 60th Street coming into what's known as the congestion zone. 60th Street and below in Manhattan is getting hit with a toll, and it's really caused havoc for people commuting and their budgets and everything. This is something that's affecting mostly the middle class. Would you agree, guys?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So the reason for this is obviously they're saying they want to cut back on traffic. And actually, in the couple of weeks it's been in effect, it has. It definitely has cut back. I think they're averaging about 50,000 cars a day less.
I gotta tell you, taking the bus on First Avenue, it's never been so fast. It went right down, like no traffic or nothing. It's amazing how people avoid that little area. It's amazing.
But where it's hitting hardest though is the outer boroughs.
Yeah.
But if you go to Hell's Kitchen on a Friday, they still got that massive traffic. That hasn't stopped that massive traffic of people going to Jersey. It's still insane. You would think that would be better.
Yeah, the tunnel's right there.
Yeah.
Now, Knowledge, I want to ask you, because you work for the TA. A lot of this is really because the MTA is getting beat constantly every day. Fare beating is out of hand.
Yeah, it's true.
What's your thoughts on that?
Well, remember during the pandemic, the MTA was saying you don't have to pay to get on the trains. So you open the doors for that. Like the buses were free, the trains were free. So all that revenue was lost. So now they're trying to recoup the money that they lost during the pandemic. And now they doing the congestion pricing to, try to get back all the money they lost, which essentially is a tax on New York City residents. Like how do you have I have to pay to go down to the East Village to hang out? Like, yeah, I got to pay $9.
Well, it's a selective tax. Don't forget that. Selective.
Mm-hmm.
How is it selective, Eric? Explain that.
I don't drive, so I'm not paying it.
Well, okay, so if Knowledge wants to drive to Staten Island, he can go through Brooklyn. He's not going to pay a tariff, right? If Rob wants to, drive to New Jersey and stay there, he's not paying a tariff. But if either of them want to come back into the city, do that, they're paying a tariff. If you're in New Jersey, right, and you're going to work, let's say you work, Midtown.
Yeah.
You come to the tunnel in New Jersey, which also brings up the Commerce Clause.
Mm-hmm.
It's a selective tax. It's targeting certain people.
Yeah, and that to me would borderline or actually be unconstitutional, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's where the Commerce Clause comes in because it creates hardships for people that are traveling from other states. And the key thing with the Commerce Clause is it's interstate travel, which allows the federal government to get involved.
Yeah.
That's why Jersey was suing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you think, Knowledge, that, you brought up the pandemic. Do you think that by allowing the free, people to get on buses for free. I remember that. Okay.
Yeah.
It was definitely happening. That opened the door and people got used to the idea of just not paying.
Easily. Like I saw a guy at Fulton Street, 3-piece suit, nice shoes, just hop the train. I'm like, all right, like you look like you got it, but I'm saying like you're just hopping the train. So you create this culture of people being thinking that they're entitled to not paying. But what a lot of people don't understand is ridership it's not how many people are on the train, it's how many people are paying for the train.
Yeah.
So in like the poorer neighborhoods like the South Bronx or deep in Brooklyn, if they're not paying, the MTA is saying, oh, well, there's not a lot of riders here.
Right.
So on weekends, we can do whatever because there's not a lot of ridership here anyway. So like a lot of people around my way, they don't know how close they was to the train being shut down and not existing.
Really?
Yeah. Like
what line is that?
Because by the 5, there wasn't a lot of people paying. So the MTA is like, oh, there's not a lot of people here. But so they were just going to shut it down permanently and just have a shuttle bus run. But something happened where they didn't shut it down. So, like people when people talk to me, be like, oh, I don't have to pay. Like, yeah, you kind of do.
Right.
Because you don't know, like, do you want to take a shuttle bus to come up here forever? Like back in the day, like it's a pain because there's a slight shutdown after like 11 o'clock anyway. So, like back in the day when I used to hang out, over the weekends when I met you guys, it would take me 45 minutes to go from the Bronx to the East Village, taking the train. But it would take me an hour and a half to come back because my train doesn't run after a while. So I have to take like 3 trains to come back home. So, it's...
Wow.
Yeah.
Or they might have a shuttle bus part of the way or whatever.
Well, the 5 doesn't run into Manhattan after a certain time.
Oh.
So okay. I would have to take the 4 up, connect to the 2.
Wait for that.
And then take the shuttle 5 back home. So I'm thinking 3 trains, whereas I could just take the train to 14th Street and then transfer to the 6 and go in the Village.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Now, Eric, you're out on Staten Island, and Staten Island is always the forgotten borough, unfortunately, in New York City. We had a fantastic podcast recently with radio host Frank Morano, the guy that's on the overnight show on WABC, and he's running for a city council seat on the South Shore of Staten Island, the 51st district. And he brought up a couple of good points. We got into the congestion pricing conversation. And he said, people on the South Shore don't have it's a transportation desert, basically. They don't have the buses and there's no train there.
No.
Okay, so you're really kind of forced to drive. Okay, you could go to the ferry, but it's very congested there. So people opt to just kind of like drive right in. And I know you're more on the North Shore, so you probably just go right.
Well, I grew up on the South Shore.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So you know about that then.
Yeah.
On the South Shore.
Well, the problem with Staten Island is the roads weren't made for that many cars. Right. So driving is crazy.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I've lived by the ferry, so I can take a bus to my house. It's like 2 or 3 stops because I live up on a huge hill. What's funny is me and my bus driver play a game. Right. I'm always the last person to get on the bus because we're at the first stop, and I count the amount of people who don't pay. Right. And it's usually like 15 to 20 people that get on the bus at that stop and don't pay. But then again, those same people are complaining why there's no bus service. And so what Knowledge was saying, if you don't pay, there you go. Now these buses service the South Shore, so there's less and less buses because in the South Shore, that's an area where a lot of people don't pay.
Now, in the past, I mean, just if somebody was going to get on the bus and not pay, it was usually you try to sneak in the back door,
Yeah.
something like that. Now they're just brazenly walking right past the driver, right? Like they don't care.
They don't care. They'll walk by with a McDonald's bag in their hand, their iPhone in their hand.
With
It just,
is on.
yeah, like they're like, yeah, whatever. So what?
But you know what? When I was working at area bar, they had the bus stop there, and when the bus were open, people just walked to the back, and none of them were like going on. And there's a sensor everywhere, so you can pay, so you can with your phone.
Yeah.
Because pretty much now you pay with your phone. Everybody got the thing on the phone to pay, which makes it so much faster. Like the Omni.
That's the new thing that's going to come into play when they phase out the Metro cards, right?
The problem with the Omni is you got to get people to pay.
Well, when I take the select bus, like to go up to see you, Rob, people give me a nasty look when I pay. They look at me. One person actually said, "Who you think you are?" Like,
really?
Yeah,
a citizen.
Yeah, you like the train, you fucking motherfucker. You better pay if you want to get on this bus. When they do have the cops come in there.
Yeah,
they do kick them out, man.
But the police only come at certain times of the day. They don't do weekends. Yeah. So if you really want to get by it, you can. You know how.
Yeah.
Now, how much knowledge? How much is the MTA losing every day, approximately, in fare beating?
Well, I know the MTA. They asked for $33 billion from the state. They want to extend the 2nd Avenue line because currently the 2nd Avenue line ends in 96th Street.
Right.
So they want to bring it over to 125th on the west side. I don't know if that's the 2 or the 3 or the 1, but they want to do that. They want to do some other projects. I know they're going to be doing some work on the A line. They're supposed to be doing some work on the 2 and the 5 over the summer. There's those are the things that I just know. But I think they're trying to recoup all the money that they lost. And
it says in 2024 they lost $800 million
in fare beating.
I believe that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They're saying
$800 million. You divide that by 12.
Yeah.
That's well, if it was 10, it'd be 80 million. It's like 75 million a month.
Yeah.
If my math is right, that's absolutely astronomical.
Yeah.
Okay, you think about that. Like how many riders are there every day? Okay, there's millions of riders.
Yeah.
So what is like 70% of them not paying? Is that where we're at?
It's at 65%.
65% is the figure they think.
Yeah,
okay,
65.
Okay, so that's
a lot.
That's almost 7 out of 10 people are just jumping the turnstile or walking past the bus driver and getting a free ride.
Yeah.
That's never happened in the history of this city ever.
So I did the math. They're losing $2 million a day.
$2 million a day.
That's $2 million a day.
That's probably about right because you know what the problem is. You see all these people just walk into the train and keep going, and they don't even say nothing. They just the train and the buses where they open all the 3 doors. You see a lot of guys go behind. Some people not skipping because now you really want to get people to pay. Stop opening all the doors, but then when the people get out in the back, somebody always run in through the back.
Yeah.
Well,
the bus drivers are told not to engage.
Right.
If somebody walks in, like you said, like Eric was saying, somebody walks in with iPhone 16 and $2 sneakers, walk right by the bus driver. The bus driver is not to engage. They're supposed to press a button, letting people know that, letting whoever know that they didn't pay, and all the riders, and that's probably how they're gauging how they're losing their money. But it's kind of like you can't have it both ways. You can't complain that everything is going up and there's a lack of services when you're not paying.
In the past, I remember like the Q46 bus on Union Turnpike.
Yeah.
Queens, okay? Goes past Cheap Shots right
there.
Yeah. It ends up at Queens Boulevard. You get on the E and the F right there.
Mm-hmm.
And usually by like Main Street or a little bit before, close to Cheap Shots, that's when you start seeing the fare beaters. Okay.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I would be sitting there at Main Street and the driver would just stop the bus. This is a few years ago. I would say 2021, maybe something like that. They would stop the bus and say, "We're not moving until this guy pays."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And usually, half the bus would be screaming at this person. Okay. And once you figured out who they were talking about, and either he'd get off or he'd pay.
Yeah.
But what I started to notice, like you're saying, that then they stopped engaging at all, because I think a couple of drivers got beat up.
Yeah.
Something happened. All right, because you started seeing how they just weren't engaging at all, and everybody would look at each other like, "Why the frick am I paying when this guy or these 5 people just walked on and didn't pay?"
That's the problem.
Yeah,
that is the problem. But let me tell you, I remember being a kid. And when I was a kid, I think the buses were like 50 cents.
Yeah.
And I remember some fucking dude not paying, and the driver just got out and just got out of the bus.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's what you'll be like, "Oh man."
Yeah, and
you always want to pay.
I'll tell you guys a funny story that happened to me. Okay.
Yeah.
Back in, I want to say, had to be probably like 1988, something like that. Okay. I jumped the turnstile at West 4th Street. I had no money on me. Okay. Yeah. And I jumped the turnstile at West 4th Street and got caught by a couple of plainclothes cops.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They caught me and another guy. I didn't know him, but he jumped the turnstile too. Okay. They handcuffed us to the railing. Okay. At West 4th Street. Okay. And left us there for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Okay. I had to piss so bad. I remember I was like, I thought I was going to pee my pants. Okay. I ran into, coming out of that station, I ran into like 4 people there that I knew that saw me handcuffed up. Okay. Thank God there were no cell phones back then with cameras. It was, all over the internet. Okay. They came back after about 3 hours. Let us go.
Yeah.
No ticket, no nothing. Just let us go. Now, that was something I learned a lesson there. I said, I'm not going to jump the turnstile anymore, I don't think. Okay. And that's what I think that's what needs to happen is really it's okay. I get that the pandemic, they needed to make accommodations. They probably didn't need to do that, but
it was all part of a coordinated plan to get to where we are today.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to kind of go there, Eric. I think that there's, you want to elaborate on that? I really think that that's kind of.
Well, okay, so let's think of it. The pandemic happens, they get emergency powers, right? So what's the first thing they do? They make the buses free.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Then they do outdoor dining.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Remember that? When they, even before that, remember they put in all the bike lanes.
You mean outdoor, indoor dining?
Yeah. Well, before that, they put in the bike lanes, which took away lanes for cars.
Spaces, yeah.
Then they said, hey, we can let bars set up little outdoor seating in the street, which took away more lanes.
Remember me bitching about it?
And parking spot.
And parking spots.
Yeah, that's right.
So they complain about congestion, but they created the congestion.
And the city bikes.
Yeah, and the city bikes. Yeah. And they did all of this to get to the point where we are now, where they could say, oh, there's way too many cars. There's too many cars because you took away half the lanes.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's like, oh, well, we're going to do congestion pricing. If you look at congestion pricing, they say there's less cars. In 2023, New York City collected $1.09 billion in traffic violations and parking tickets. You have less cars, but guess what? You don't have that revenue anymore. Right. And that revenue is more than they're going to raise with congestion pricing. So it has nothing to do with whatever. It's all about the city.
They're projecting that they're supposed to get $15 billion through the congestion pricing. That's what they're projecting.
They're not going to get that.
But they also try to make you take.
If there's less cars, how can you get more money?
Yeah, but they're trying to make people to take the train more, buses and train. I think the train's going up. Buses and train are going up to $3. But when you think about
they don't pay.
You know what? When it goes up to 3, what people don't get, the MTA is still one of the cheapest way to travel in New York City. There's a lot of major city, that they have zones.
Yeah.
Like if you're going from one place to another, you want to pay like $8 to get from one place to another. But we're very lucky in New York. I could go anywhere for $3.
Well,
$6 will get me anywhere.
That's Long Island. Like if you jump on Long Island Railroad and you want to go from 34th Street to Babylon,
oh yeah,
you're coming out of pocket.
Yeah, it's like $12,
even off peak is not cheap.
Yeah.
Well, think of this. I was just on the PATH train coming from Newark Airport the other day.
Yeah.
It's $3.
Yeah.
Everybody paid.
Yeah.
It's a different culture.
Yeah. And nobody's watching it either. There's nobody.
Yeah, nobody's watching.
PATH trains are empty as far as service people. You never see any.
And the trains were in much better condition. I didn't see homeless people. They didn't smell like this.
It's a different culture.
So it's right across the river.
Yeah.
Is it? What's going on?
Well, it's a different culture knowledge, right? It's
totally different culture. Like if you look at, you don't even got to go as far as the PATH train. Look at Long Island Railroad and Metro North. They can literally drink beer on the train.
We do all the time.
You drink beer on the train, but it's a different culture. Everybody, it's cleaner, it's nicer. Like people have to understand, there's only on the whole planet Earth, there's only 2 24-hour subway systems. This one in Tokyo.
Yeah.
And if you look at it, it's night and day. Like Tokyo, you can eat off the floor.
I've heard that. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I've seen videos or whatever. It's pristine. It's a different culture. Here, literally I've seen like whole meals on the floor here.
Yeah. And I've seen
after they were eating.
I've seen like the after effects of the meal on the floor too.
You know what it is? We're a bunch of savages here.
Yeah, that's the problem.
A bunch of savages. Because sometimes you go on the train and you see a person eating the whole meal. It's like, you don't see that shit in the Long Island Railroad like somebody.
I've seen people clipping their nails on the fucking train.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Well, dude, the Staten Island ferry's free.
Yeah.
But I prefer to pay and take the fast ferry into Manhattan, which is $3. Because
people.
Yeah, it's faster, but you don't deal with the nut jobs. Yeah. Every time I get on the train, there's always some kind of altercation. And like we were talking about the Daniel Perry guy.
Yeah.
There's several instances where I've had to stand up and
walk away.
No, I've had to stand up and confront people that were doing crazy things to like children or women on the train. Never came to fighting, but it's like, why did you have to put yourself in that situation? It's nuts.
Yeah. One thing, if you talk about Staten Island here for a second, one thing that I don't know if this would be a bit of a remedy maybe for people, but after 9/11, they had stopped allowing cars on the ferry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. And if you were to bring that back, I don't know if we're in a position to, but as far as threats and things like that, obviously you don't want a car bomb going off on the ferry.
Right.
But if you could, would that remedy some of the problems on Staten Island, or it just doesn't hold enough cars really to do that?
It's getting to the ferry. Most of the streets on Staten Island are 2 lanes.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. But they used to have. When I was a kid, there was actually a train on the North Shore.
Yeah, I've been on that train. Yeah,
there was a train on the North Shore, and there used to be fast ferry service that went just before the Gatos Bridge.
Okay.
They used to go from there to Midtown, which was great for people on that side of the island. Yeah. You do have express bus service, but still you're dealing with traffic. Yeah,
they're at the mercy of the traffic. They built HOV lanes and bus lanes and all that stuff, but you still see a ton of traffic.
Everybody's moving there.
Staten Island, not Staten, but in Seattle, there's this one place that the boats, cars got to get in the boats because they go to this island that's not even connected to anywhere. You can't drive over there. The only way you can get on there, people still drive the car there. They never had a problem. I guess in New York and Seattle, they never had a problem. But I guess in New York, because it's such a target, they're worried about a fucking car bomb or anything.
Well, a lot of the new boats they're building don't take cars.
Yeah.
No.
The new ferries,
Yeah. So in Staten Island, the widest lane, the widest street has 2 lanes.
Yeah, it's like 2, maybe 4 if you go like on Forest Avenue or Highland Boulevard, but all the other streets, like one
Victory
of the
Road.
Like Victory Boulevard, right?
Yeah,
It's
Victory
one
Boulevard.
way.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 2 ways, but it's
Yeah.
only 2
Yeah,
roads.
you got the major throughways are Victory Boulevard, Highland Boulevard, Forest Avenue, and on the outer side it's Richmond Terrace. And Richmond Terrace is the fastest way to get, like, from the Gothos Bridge to the ferry, but it's 2 lanes.
It's crazy.
That's not good.
Yeah, that's not a good look.
No, I don't know. You think it's here to stay, congestion pricing, or you think that Mr. Trump is going to get rid of it?
I think
Trump might get rid of it.
Yeah, I think because of the Commerce Clause, because it's affecting New Jersey. So New Jersey residents are effectively paying 2 tolls.
Yeah.
They're paying to go to the tunnel, and then they're paying another congestion price.
Yeah,
Even if they,
look at these prices. Like,
Yeah.
it's like $22.
no, just like,
Look at the battery tunnel without Easy Pass. The battery tunnel is 2019 to go from Brooklyn to Manhattan.
Yeah.
Then you're getting banged with a congestion price $9 fee during the peak hours.
Yeah.
$275 off peak. Now, just so people understand, peak hours is 5 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Yeah.
And then 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. is the
It's off peak. Yeah.
Okay. Now,
Yeah, you come in like
why couldn't they have made that? I don't know,
7 p.m.
7 to 3. Why they got to make it 5 to 9?
Because they're trying to get everybody that's working. You know, and it's 24 hours. It's not even like.
But that's the thing. That's the thing. Knowledge is this.
Yeah.
This hurts people, the working class, more than anything.
Yeah. And well, also here's the thing: a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people don't think about the people that come with like beef. And you go into the meatpacking district and whatever. Those trucks, they're not paying $9. They're paying like $16. Upwards
they got the price for trucks. I think I saw it here.
Yeah.
Like big large truck is $21.60.
So it's $21. And what you think that company's gonna eat that? No, they're gonna pass it on to the consumer.
Yeah,
So,
of course.
well, you were just saying all this the other day. Why I gotta pay to have commercial free on Amazon?
Yeah.
Well, what do you think? Because now they have to pay all these extra costs.
Yeah.
Amazon, right.
Remember, all the warehouses are in New Jersey.
Yeah.
And Long Island,
And Long Island.
and their trucks have to go through.
Well, we could have had one in Queens, but we all know what happened.
The bartender blew it up.
Yeah, the blood. Yeah.
No, but you know when the call drives in like at 2 a.m, she's only paying like $2.50.
Yeah, but she has to come in at 2 a.m, like 0 dark
That's
30.
the off-peak time.
But that's the way she comes, because she like get to the bar at 3 o'clock and heading back before the traffic starts. So she'll go to the bar, do all her work, and then by 5 o'clock she's out there heading back.
Yeah.
Now, just imagine you got a moving company, right?
Yeah.
And people want, you got like 10 trucks. People want to move.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying, well, I could have my truck show up there at 8 o'clock in the morning and pay a peak fee, or I could have my truck show up at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night and pay less.
Yeah.
Same thing with your deliveries. They go, oh, well, I can deliver the beer to the bar at noon when they open, when there's hardly any customers there, or I can wait till 10 o'clock at night and deliver it
Yeah.
when the bar is packed.
Exactly.
Everything's got to switch around to a night shift kind of mentality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what's funny? Some of those people can deliver, like the beer company. A lot of times, there's porters there at 4 a.m. If you really want to.
But then that's the thing. Companies will have to pay to make people available there.
Yeah.
To be there.
Yeah,
And that's more cost on the company. And the people that make up these rules, they don't live in New York City. They don't care.
No, they don't care. And actually, another thing too, guys, is if you think about it, with all those adjustments to try to become a night shift type thing,
Mm-hmm.
you're also adding more energy costs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're using more electric at off-peak times, and that translates to more costs for everybody.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Con Ed's talking about they wanted to do a 13% increase.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're crazy. You know
Yeah.
what the problem with Con Ed? They're like the mafia, man. They gotta. It's like a
They have a monopoly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have no choice. You have no real choice in electric in New York City.
No, you don't. It's
Either that or go electric power or something, or get a
solar panels. But even
or
then,
get a panel.
That doesn't work in the city. There's too many obstructions.
Yeah.
you got to. It works in the outer boroughs because up here people have solar panels.
Yeah. No, I mean, people have solar panels. I don't, Manhattan, you don't really see it. You'll see it in the outer boroughs.
Like you said, there's too many obstructions.
Yeah.
There's people that got panels and they get so much energy that the company's actually paying them.
Yeah.
Well, that's how they sell it to you. Out here, I'm in Nassau County.
Mm-hmm.
I get orders all the time for solar. Okay, and I've entertained it once or twice. I've had them come over and give me the whole hour long thing. It's just not worth it. No. It's just not worth it. And the idea is you're supposed to get to the point where you're like selling the electricity back to them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but I think that the cost of it is like another mortgage.
Yeah,
it's just not worth it at this point.
Well, I can tell you, Con Ed is a scam because I'll go away for 3 weeks, and the only thing I'll have on in my house is just a refrigerator and a computer.
Yeah,
and my electric bill is the same.
I was about to say, it's like you never left.
It's like I never left.
Yeah, no, they what they do now is they average it out. They don't, because they used to come and read the meter.
Oh no, I tell them you can put on your bill, don't average it,
and you still get the same.
I still get the same.
Yeah, when we went away to Colombia, I was gone for 2 weeks. And I come back, I'm thinking, oh, since I'm not here, I have my MPC with me, so that's not using power. It was the same thing. I'm like, I should have kept all the damn lights on.
Well, like when I was in DR for a month.
It's almost like an estimate. Like they estimate the thing pretty much. Even when they read the meter, it's like an estimate.
I get alerts on my phone. They say, oh, from such and such, from like Monday to Sunday, they be like, yeah, I've used like 4% less, and they said I used the most like Wednesday night. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Like they'll tell you when you use it, how much you use, and I'm like, all right, but if I'm 4% less, 4% less, 4% less, my bill should be 12% less.
Yeah,
logically, yeah.
It's crazy. But that's almost like look at the cable bill. I don't have cable no more. I just do streaming and stuff.
Yeah.
But the only reason I got Sling TV just to watch some sports, which ESPN pretty much is the only reason I have it. But I wish I could just pay for ESPN, and like the sports channel, and not even get the other channels. Oh, I really want that. It should be something like that already,
What's Sling TV, Rob? I'm not familiar with that.
It's like a streaming service, and they got like all your basic channels, and then they got like MTV, USA, TBS, TNT. They have all those other channels.
But they have sports channels, you're saying?
And they have sports channel. Like I got the Big Ten.
Yeah.
I got all those. And then, but now you got to buy different packages for everything. Like if you want to watch the soccer, you got to watch the Peacock. Watch wrestling Peacock. You got to watch that.
Well, I have Hulu TV, which is like my it's just like basic cable. That's $100 right there.
Yeah.
And I'm using my boy's Peacock because he uses my HBO.
Yeah.
So, that's the trade-off right there. And then, I have Amazon Prime, and Amazon Prime, they're good for nickel and diming you.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was the commercial stuff.
Yeah.
Commercials.
I also have my Paramount Plus. And I have
that's a good one.
Yeah, Paramount Plus is good. I like it.
Paramount Plus is good. It's still reasonable,
Yeah. And then I also have Apple TV, even though it should be free since I have an iPhone and a MacBook. But
silly rabbit.
I'm saying Apple, they should be like, you know what, that's for you. But it's like these things. And then did you see the new thing with the Yes Network, Rob? It's like all the New York teams, they're under one umbrella. It's
Oh, Gotham. It's like $30 a month.
It's the Knicks, the Yankees, the Nets, the Rangers, the Islanders, the Liberty, and something. It's like
I think the Devils are on there too.
Yeah, it's 50 something a month. I'm like, all right, well, I gotta watch the Yankees and the Knicks on this. You know, when it's like, it's insane how much. If you really add everything up, it's probably like cable.
Yeah.
And
at the end of the day, it is.
It's supposed to be. It was supposed to be the alternative to cable.
No, didn't work out like that.
But I don't think, you know what, even cable now give you streaming service when you own the cable. You know, they'll buy you a Netflix. They'll buy you this now. Because they got this. I think that's people are doing cable, more people are streaming.
Yeah. Because if you think about it, like, who's really home to watch cable? Like, people don't.
You're not. You're stuck in traffic.
Yeah.
That's true.
Like my parents watch cable because they're home all the time. So those are the only
that's what it's made for. It's for people that are home.
Yeah, but if you're paying $200 a month for cable, you're at work to afford to pay $200 a month for cable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you were right when you said Amazon Prime nickels and dimes you, because I always get these little charges. I'm like, where the fuck did this come from?
Yeah.
Amazon Prime. I'm like, I look at it. Then you know how hard it is to look at the charges on Amazon. You got to go through hurdles.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Look on their website, you know. And it's like, I didn't order this, and then I got to get in touch with them, and they take it off, or
But then you have to do all of that.
Yeah, it's crazy. Put your password in, and you forget your password. It's a pain in the ass.
Well, that's the whole thing now with government and all these companies. They don't take big sums from you. They take a little bit here, and hoping you don't notice.
Yeah.
You know.
That up.
Well, that's not a new thing, because I can remember the phone company back in the day when it was like 9X.
Yep.
Okay, so you're going back 1993, 1994. Okay, there would always be on my phone bill a little charge for like 19 cents or something like that. Okay, that was a phone call to Western Nassau. I lived in Queens. I didn't know anybody in Nassau at that time. Okay, I wasn't making that call, but it was 19 cents, and I just paid it. I didn't. It wasn't worth it to fight it. Okay, you do that to everybody.
Exactly.
All right, and that's how
you
get it. Make your money, and that went on for years. I remember that Western Nassau.
But that goes with the cell phone too. You always get that. It's that weird $2 something charge for whatever the hell New York, whatever to be able to use like New York.
It was $1.26 to keep your number. So I'm on AT&T. So if I wanted to go to Verizon, like I've had my number for 23 years. I'm not changing my number. Right. So, because remember before you went to another service provider, you had to go get a whole new number.
Yeah, they didn't carry over.
Yeah, and in Congress they passed a law saying that yes, you can keep your number, but you had to pay $1.26. So let's say 300 million Americans have a cell phone. $1.26 times 300 million. It's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money. I think Doge should hit the cell phone company. What do you think?
The cell phone,
they should,
and the streaming providers.
Yes.
Dude, do you see that some dude put up something? He's going, I just lost my job because these Doge people. I was getting paid a ridiculous amount of money a week to find out how many times a wheel turned on a bus.
Yeah, I saw that one. That was funny.
It was the funniest thing ever.
How much the wheels on the bus go round and round?
Well, that's the thing. All these federal workers are getting laid off, and they're complaining. I'm like, it took 6 of you to put in a light bulb.
Right.
I'm like, welcome to the rest of the country where like companies downsize and save money and all this stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it I think our next topic should be Doge. What do you think, guys?
Oh yeah,
Doge stickers.
I'll just say this, and we won't get into it too much for this
monsters.
But what gets me about it all, and just sticks in my craw about it, is these people are more concerned that Elon Musk and the Doge people are finding this stuff, or than actually that is there. Okay, they're like, oh, he has no right. Well, wait a minute. But he found this.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
You know, they just, you know, it's just insane. It's just totally
It's how they're programmed to respond. Now, keep in mind, no court yet has said it was unconstitutional or illegal.
Mhm.
because it's not. If you're appointed by the president,
Mhm.
he has the power. You work it to the pleasure of the president. All right.
Yeah.
And that's existed. There was a group, a department. I think it was under Reagan, and if I remember right, if I'm wrong, I apologize, but I think it was RIGO, RIGO, or something like that. Okay, that did basically the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you know, it was all about government efficiency. They didn't dig deep like this is going. Okay.
Oh, these guys are digging. They're going deep.
But it's existed in the past, and other. I mean, there's been if you look at like the FDR administration, you go back to the 30s and the 40s.
Mm-hmm.
He had a czar for everybody.
Okay.
Yeah. There was something for everything, and no one had a problem with that. No one had a problem.
Well, what you have to understand is, and a lot of people don't, the president has Article 2 authority to control administrative policy in the executive branch. Now, let's say Congress allocates funds.
Yeah.
Right. And they say the funds have to be dispersed on January 1st.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yes, the president has to disperse those funds by January 1st. But if they tell him this in October, he can wait all the way up to January 1st because that's his executive power. Because all these agencies are underneath him, they're subordinate officers, he can audit them. He can do whatever he wants. He can appoint people to audit them. They can't withhold, oh, we're not going to show you our records even though we work for you. Like, that's great.
Yeah. But here's the thing that I don't understand. This is literally our tax dollars at work. Mm-hmm. And people are mad that they're trying to save money essentially.
No, they're just mad because it's Trump.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's all
it is. That's all it is.
If it was any other if it was Obama and he started a policy like this, and they would be all for it. Okay, it's because it's Trump and he's getting a slam dunk about it.
You want to hear something funny? Adam said it the best the other day. I went to a bunch of meetings to see Biden and nobody criticized me. Now I go see Trump and everybody's criticizing me. It was very great.
Well, you've got people. They're talking about Trump withholding the funds. I don't know if you remember when Biden withheld arms to Israel.
Yeah,
that was allocated by Congress.
Right.
There was also an Oklahoma SCOTUS case where the Supreme Court ruled that Biden can withhold funds.
Yeah,
because it's an administrative policy. As long as he delivers those funds by the time Congress says they have to be delivered.
He's the president is the CEO. He's the chief executive officer.
He's literally the CEO.
And he has to his main duty is to enforce the existing laws.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's all that's happening here. Okay, and make sure that everything runs efficiently. Okay, that's all this is. All right, and then people saying, "Oh, they're getting our Social Security numbers." Asshole, they have your Social.
They have it already.
They have it already. Stop it.
You want to hear something? You want to hear something real funny? Imagine Dodge, they bring it to the MTA. See how
you know what, man? That's a perfect segue to bring it back to the congestion pricing. Is the MTA, and I know you work for the TA Knowledge, and you know this. It's one of the most corrupt organizations ever.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and I mean, years ago they got caught misappropriating funds and fixing
they had to send a book.
You know, all these things. If you give the MTA $1, they waste 98 cents of it.
Well, who is thinking of all these deterrents? You see all these I see all these ads and everything and news articles. We have a new deterrent for turnstiles. I'm like,
it's like spikes, so you can't. Like the idea is, when you jump the turnstile, you kind of like put your hands up and lift your legs over it. They're putting these like spike things that like so pigeons don't sit there. That kind of thing.
But they already have something that works. It's those big turnstile gates. They work. I mean, pay me $95 million right now, And I'll give you a 3-sentence research paper with the solution to your problems.
Actually, if you ask me, the solution is a 250-pound cop right there. Okay.
All this money they're wasting, they could have had a whole bunch of cops.
I mean, because not only can he protect from the fare beating, he'll protect us from the fucking maniacs that are on every train ride.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
So if they were doing this, if this was what it really was about, okay, they would say the quickest way is to have more police presence, big police presence, hire cops. We're short cops because they all left because of COVID. And because of the forced vaccinations and all these other things, okay, they're down to like their lowest level, I think, I want to say since the 70s.
Well, why would you want to be a New York City police officer?
I would never want to be.
You don't want to be because it's not a good job anymore because people don't pay attention, man. You're putting your life at risk for people if you do want to arrest, you got to fucking beat the shit out of somebody.
Think about
on videotape.
Well, didn't they take away qualified immunity?
Yes,
in New York?
I was just going to bring that up. They took away that, it was like an insurance policy, basically, that they can't be held accountable and sued for false arrest or anything like that. They took that away. Now, I know they haven't actually pulled the trigger on anybody yet with that. I don't think they have.
Yeah.
But it's there. It's a risk.
But also think about this, though. You have, because I was talking to police, I actually talked to cops or whatever. Yeah. And listen, they have a boss, like I have a boss and whatever. But it's, like if they want to do something, if their sergeant or their lieutenant tells them, we can't do this because, whatever mandate is going on, you're kind of handcuffing the police. So in instances where back in the day, they probably would have pulled out the nightstick and gotten busy. Now, everybody has a cell phone. There's a civilian review board. And then it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. And then who wants to go through all of that? And that's assuming that your union is going to stand by you.
Well, that's another thing I was going to say. A lot of times, as soon as these officers get charged, right, they fire them so they don't have to pay for their legal representation.
Yeah.
Because they might still be under probation or whatever. They could just fire them, no problem, right?
Well, no, they don't have to be probation. They could just fire you. They could just fire you before any guilty verdict or anything. They say, we let them go. They do it all the time.
The PBA allows that? Wow. Okay.
Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, so that's just, why be a cop,
It's you can throw all the money in the world at them, but if they can't do anything, they have the threat of you being fired from your job. Why? You know what I mean? Like, who wants it? I tell people, I was talking to a cop, and I was like, how many years you got? He was like, I got about 3.5, 4. I'm like, you know what? Make your 5 and then go to Long Island and be a cop there.
Yeah, there's a lot of incentives too. Go out Suffolk County and stuff like that.
And it's more pay. They pay more right away.
Suffolk is still one of the highest paid police forces out there.
They think they start around like 160 after your top pay.
And you don't do shit out there.
Yeah, you don't.
Okay. Well, you do more now than you ever did because they got some problems with like MS-13 came back and things like that. But that's just little pockets. But for the most part, it's a cushy job.
Yeah.
Well, what it is with the congestion pricing and the sanctuary city, all the people in Albany who don't have windows in their tower are trying to make some utopian society when they don't live in actual society. It's
they have no clue what's going on.
Yeah, they have no clue.
No, but do you think? And I've been hearing a little bit more about this over the last few days. Do you think that this could be overturned? Trump has said he's not for it. Okay. Yeah. He wants to speak to Hochul specifically about it. Now, I think he might be, knowing him, he's looking for some kind of deal. Okay. Right. Yeah. And be like, you get rid of the congestion pricing and I'll do this or that.
It's never going to happen. The New York State has too much invested in it, in the congestion pricing. Even though I do think it's going to change because of the Commerce Clause. But yeah, they got way too much in it.
Change in what way? Would it change? It's not going to go away. You're saying it's going to what?
Yeah, it may change so that if you've already paid a toll, like to come through come through the tunnel, that you don't have to pay congestion pricing again, or
I
something like
think
that.
they got something like that. You got to pay just once a day.
Yeah,
people from Jersey are paying twice.
yeah, or they may just make it a these vehicles are exempt or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really see a problem with the Commerce Clause. I think no matter what Trump tries to offer, first of all, no matter what Trump tries to offer, they're not going to work with him, even if it's in the city's best interest. Like, forget about it. They're not going to do it.
Well, I don't think the city's the problem for this. I think it's the state.
But it's state too. They're not.
I think. Look, Adams. I think he's kissed the ring now. Okay.
Yeah.
He got his indictment squashed.
But it's not squashed. It's delayed until after the election.
Right. Okay. So technically, it's not gone, but it's delayed.
Yeah.
Okay. And he has met with Tom Homan regarding the immigration issue, which I was shocked he did that.
Well, remember, though, let's look at the timeline. First, he ran.
You ever think he's going to run for governor?
Who?
Adams?
Adams.
Governor?
You ever think about it?
No.
I think he will. If he does, he'll probably have to be a Republican.
Well,
I think if he runs for mayor, he's going to have to be a Republican.
Let's look at the timeline, though. The governor of Texas was talking about the sanctuary city stuff. Then he says, "Oh, New York is a sanctuary city," so the governor of Texas sends all the migrants here. He's overwhelmed. He's talking to the Biden administration. They're not doing anything. And I remember an interview with him, and they were like, the reporter was really trying to get him to say Biden's name, and he was the administration. And then that didn't go anywhere. So then he started talking against it. He was like, we need to reevaluate this whole sanctuary city thing. Then he gets hit with all these charges.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then we get the election.
I saw that coming, knowledge, a mile away. I saw that. I remember when he said it, I said, oh, they're going to go right after him. And they did.
Yeah. And then, so that happens. And then he meets with Trump. And, these things go. And I'm like, you know what? Because I always said he's a one-term mayor. I don't think he's getting reelected.
No.
I don't see it. I think, and, Eric might know better than I do. I think if the borough president of Staten Island runs, he might. No.
There's rumors that Cuomo's going to run.
Yeah.
And New Yorkers are stupid enough to elect him.
You're right. Well, here's the thing: the way they'll position it. Got that deputy mayor, right? The deputy mayor, I think, wants to run.
Okay.
And he's a straight up.
Socialist. Yeah.
Okay. So they'll position it like, okay, he's the, the radical side of the party, and then you'll have Cuomo come in looking like a moderate.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and I don't know. Adams might flip and be Republican. He's been Republican before in his life.
Yeah.
During the Giuliani administration, when he was a cop, he was a Republican for a few years. Yeah. So this guy, he goes with whatever way the wind's blowing.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know if he'd even have a shot. I mean,
I don't think.
Maybe. Remember, Uptown went red.
But if Adams is the nominee, Eric, I'm saying.
Oh, if Adams is that's what I'm saying. If Adams is the nominee, Uptown went red. Parts of Battery Park, remember, they went red in the last election.
Yeah.
Right. Brooklyn, parts of Brooklyn, like the Williamsburg and Green.
A lot of parts of Brooklyn went red, and Staten Island is all red.
Well, no, believe it or not, that's not true. Like my area where I live in is blue.
Your area is blue by the ferry.
Yeah.
Out of the ferry, the people that got the money, those people are all red.
Oh yeah.
The Trump flags all over the place. Remember we went out there?
Yeah. But if you look at the last election, the Bronx and Brooklyn got 23% of the Republican vote, which is huge for the Bronx.
That's huge.
Yeah. So Bronx, we got 23%, and because my district is red, but I mean it's blue, but there's some pockets of red that kind of surprised me. So
look, I mean, if it's a perfect storm in a way, because if you see the city going red like that, and every state in the last election swung to the right, everywhere. Okay, in the country. Whether it was enough to give it to Trump or not, but they still swung. you got a perfect storm happening here where if enough of the city, and I've heard that it has to be something like
There's
29.
a reason why Trump campaigned in the Bronx and
Yes.
Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
He's 5 steps ahead. People can hate him, you can love him, whatever, but the guy is smart.
He's
He knew.
5 steps ahead of the game all the
He's
time.
not. He wasn't thinking about this election.
No.
He was thinking about further. He was thinking about the midterms. He was thinking about more seats in the House.
Yeah.
Right. Well, if you see the state go red, if this state goes red, which
Well, we're purple right now. New York is purple.
we're purplish right now, absolutely. Yeah. If it goes red, we get like a Republican governor and a Republican mayor, like we had in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
It'll turn around very quickly.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Well, it all depends on the representatives because they're going to block everything they do.
Well, look at it this way. If you look at the last election with Hochul and Zeldin only lost
Hochul election.
Can't really call it an election, but okay.
But I'm saying it was close though.
It was.
It was close.
Real close. Zeldin, he has he's working for the Trump administration. He got a job.
He's the EPA commissioner.
Yeah.
But his last name is not because of the young people. They're not going to vote for him.
Yeah.
They're not going to vote for a Jewish man.
I was just going to say because he's a Jew.
Yep, they're not going to vote for him.
No,
So
It's an outrage.
outrage.
The anti-Semitism is strong with these young kids.
Let me tell you, don't even get me started on the anti-Semitism in New York. There's 2 groups that people think like blacks are the number one group that are discriminated against in New York. They're not.
No.
It's Jewish people and Asian people.
Oh man, the Asian hate.
Yeah, and Asians don't even complain about it.
Well, why should, if you think about it, I really admire the Asian community. There's a Chinatown or Koreatown in every major city in the country.
Look about how they expanded Chinatown.
Yeah. They
Little Italy.
over Little Italy.
Little Italy is like 2 blocks long.
Literally is just like by Ferraris and that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
But you have, like they do what they do. They own everything in their community, and it's efficient. I think the black community could take a few pages out of their book. Listen, forget about the marching. I'm not marching. I'm tired. Just buy your neighborhoods, do what you do, and then make it a community.
Like this one guy on YouTube, he said something that I repeat all the time. He said, it ain't George W. Bush peeing in the hallways, it's you.
Pretty much.
Oh shit. All right, with that, guys, we're gonna pull the plug on this first episode of I Am Right. I hope everybody enjoyed it. Every month we'll be back with a little different topic. As you can see, we get onto lots of topics, including kissing in the hallways. All right. But what do we say at the end of every show, Rob? It's a tradition.
We don't get drunk.
We get lumped up.
Lumped up.
Lumped up.
See you next time.
Take care, people.